The concert was a success. People could be heard singing and laughing with their loved ones, enjoying the performance of Eric Clapton, Buddy Guy, Robert Cray, and the talented duo Vaughan brothers Jimmie and Stevie Ray. Stevie ended the show in high spirits and was looking forward to performing once again with the team, but what happened that night marked the end of the legendary Stevie Ray Vaughan's life. Lead guitarist and frontman for his blues rock band Double Trouble, was the opening act for the rock legend Eric Clapton at an evening show on August 27, 1990, at the Alpine Valley Music Theatre located at a ski resort in East Troy, Wisconsin. Stevie was a phenomenon at the time. He became one of the world's most popular blues performers in the 90s. Born in Dallas, Texas on October 3, 1954, Stevie was inspired by his brother Jimmie at an early age and began to play guitar at the age of 7. The duo used to listen to the music of great blues guitarists such as B.B. King, Albert King, and Freddie King, and rock guitarists such as Lonnie Mack and Jimi Hendrix. At the tender age of 15, Stevie Ray delved into the world of music, wielding his guitar skills alongside local bands. 2 years down the road, he decided to bid farewell to high school and embarked on a musical journey that led him to Austin, Texas, where he formed his first band, Blackbird. Throughout the early 1970s, he used his musical talent and joined other various Austin-based bands, gaining recognition and popularity. Then came the year 1977, which marked a significant milestone as Stevie Ray ventured into creating his own musical venture, the Triple Threat Revue, which later became Double Trouble in collaboration with vocalist Lou Ann Barton. It was a huge success and even caught the attention of major musicians like Mick Jagger. With their growing popularity, the band was soon invited to perform at Montreux Music Festival in Switzerland in 1982, and needless it is to say, the show was a massive hit. There, they caught the attention of British singer-songwriter David Bowie, who then hired the band on his next album, Let's Dance, which was released in 1983. It was a turning point in the career of both Stevie Ray and Double Trouble. Big personalities in the music industry like John Hammond were impressed by him, which landed Vaughan and Double Trouble a contract with Epic Records. In the upcoming year, Stevie was named Best New Talent and Best Electric Blues Guitarist in Guitar Player magazine's reader poll. He also received a Grammy nomination for one of his songs for Best Rock Instrumental Performance. His next albums, Couldn't Stand the Weather and Soul to Soul, made him undefeatable in the music industry. All his albums achieved gold status and received several Grammy nominations. Like a stereotypical pop star, the life of Stevie also revolved around drugs and alcohol. In 1960, at the tender age of 6, Stevie Ray Vaughan initiated a troubling relationship with alcohol by stealing sips from his father's drinks. He started making his own drinks, and this resulted in alcohol dependence. Soon he got addicted to other drugs. A critical moment occurred during a tour in Germany in 1986 when Vaughan collapsed on stage, prompting him to seek help. The X-rays revealed that Stevie's stomach lining was rotting. Drugs had crystallized his intestines, and his doctor gave him 2 weeks to live if he didn't leave his habits. Soon after, he sought treatment at a London rehabilitation centre. Despite the struggles, the band persevered, and in the same year they released a resilient testament to their live performance with a double album titled Live Alive. On the ill-fated eve of August 26, 1990, Stevie walked on the stage at Alpine Valley Music Theatre in East Troy, Wisconsin, before a sold-out crowd of 30,000 for the last time. Stevie had been on the road in support of In Step since the album's release in the spring of '89. On the 26th, after Cray's opening set, Stevie and Double Trouble members took to the stage. Later in the set, Jimmie Vaughan, Stevie's elder brother, also joined the stage and gave an electrifying performance. It was the best performance Stevie ever gave. He was unbelievable, and the show was fun and exciting for both the performers and the audience. After the concert, they talked about playing together again, especially with Eric Clapton, for a series of shows at London's Royal Albert Hall as a tribute to Jimi Hendrix. However, the conversation was interrupted by Clapton's tour manager, Peter Jackson. He informed them that the weather was getting worse and that it would be better if they left soon. The concert ended late, and in the early hours of August 27, 1990, 4 Belgian Rangers helicopters were ready at a golf course near Elkhorn to fly Eric Clapton and his crew members to Chicago. The helicopters belonged to Omni-Flight Helicopters Incorporated and had been chartered by the concert's promoter, Jam Productions. Among the passengers was Stevie Ray, his brother Jimmie Vaughan, and his wife Connie. However, just a minute before departure, a sudden change in plan disrupted the arrangement. The Vaughan brothers were informed that out of the 3 seats, only one was available. The other seats were already taken by Clapton's agent, Bobby Brooks, bodyguard Nigel Brown, and assistant tour manager, Colin Smith. Upon hearing this new information, Stevie, wanting to get back to Chicago to be with Jana, asked Jimmie and Connie if he could take the last seat, saying, "I really need to get back." They obliged and caught the next flight in Lake Geneva with Leighton and Jimmie's manager, Mark Proctor. The helicopter Stevie boarded was a Bell 206B Jet Ranger, registration N16933, piloted by Jeff Brown, a 42-year-old veteran pilot. The helicopter was manufactured in 1977 and had been in service for several years. Curiously, among the 4 helicopters that were boarded, Stevie Ray Vaughan's helicopter stood out as the sole aircraft with a highly experienced pilot. This pilot boasted more than 5,000 hours of flight and held the position of a commercial pilot and flight instructor with a substantial 1,500 hours specifically in the Bell 206B model. However, a significant detail emerged. The pilot did not possess a Federal Aviation Administration certificate, which is equivalent to a license, specifically for instrument flight operations. Additionally, the Bell helicopter itself was not equipped for instrument flight. It was very dark, with thick and patchy fog. The temperature or dew point spread was such that the pilots had to continually wipe heavy condensation from the windshields. As the dew settled on the windshields of the 4 helicopters poised to transport the performers back to Chicago, a fateful decision was made to depart in the early hours of the morning. At 1 a.m. amidst dense fog, the helicopters embarked on their journey at 2-minute intervals. In the cockpit of one of these helicopters sat Jeff Brown, positioned in the right seat, steering the aircraft off the golf course. Brown maintained a high speed and slightly lower altitude than the other helicopters in the convoy. However, tragedy struck when the helicopter abruptly banked to the left, colliding with the side of a towering 300-foot-high ski slope located approximately 0.6 miles from takeoff. The hill was not lit, and in the dense fog it was invisible. As a result, the pilot couldn't descend on time as he was not familiar with the area, and the helicopter crashed. The impact resulted in the instantaneous loss of all on board. Strikingly, there was no fire or explosion, and the aftermath revealed bodies and debris scattered over an area spanning 200 square feet. The crash went unnoticed until the following morning, when the helicopter failed to reach its intended destination, casting a somber shadow over the unsuspecting world of music. When the other pilots got the news of the helicopter crash, they revealed that the weather conditions were VFR. This means that the visibility was good enough to fly by sight, but there was some fog present. According to another Omni-Flight pilot, during the ill-fated flight, the night sky revealed visible stars when gazing upwards. However, the horizontal visibility presented a variable challenge, reaching a maximum of approximately 1 mile. This atmospheric condition added an element of complexity to the already challenging flying conditions, contributing to the tragic events that unfolded during that fateful journey. Despite weather conditions indicating the potential for encountering instrument meteorological conditions, Jeff Brown, the pilot in question, lacked an instrument helicopter rating. Moreover, the Bell 206 series helicopters involved in the flight were not certified for instrument flight. The neglect of such crucial details caused a terrible accident that claimed 5 lives. Jim Winnick, the director of marketing at Lakeland Medical Center, provides insight into the unfolding events after the other helicopters arrived in Chicago. Recognizing that Stevie Ray Vaughan's helicopter was missing, they promptly notified the authorities. The Civil Air Patrol then connected the dots and initiated a search operation to locate the missing helicopter, marking the beginning of the efforts to uncover the details surrounding the tragic incident. By 7 a.m., a Wisconsin Civil Air Patrol search helicopter, manned by sheriff's deputies, discovered the wreckage positioned 50 feet below the summit of the hill. As David Stark, Walworth County PD, recalls, as they reached the summit around 6:30 a.m., the rescuers peered down and discovered the impact site of the helicopter. Despite being merely half a mile from the back of the theater, the terrain obscured it from view. Notably, the helicopter's rotor blades struck the ski lift cable behind the resort about 3/4 of the way to the top. Upon impact, the energy from the halted rotor blades transferred into the helicopter's body, initiating a disintegration process. Based on measurements and observations, it became evident that the occupants were ejected from the helicopter as it came apart. There was no explosion, but the helicopter's fuel scattered across the area, enveloping the debris, ground and bodies in a tragic aftermath. Following this discovery, both Eric Clapton and Jimmie Vaughan were promptly summoned to the morgue to officially identify the bodies, a somber and heart-wrenching task that added a heartbreaking layer to the aftermath of the tragic incident. In the investigation, it was revealed that on the day preceding his timely death, Stevie Ray Vaughan shared a chilling revelation with his band and crew members. He recounted a haunting nightmare in which he found himself at his own funeral, surrounded by thousands of mourners. In the dream, he experienced a complex blend of emotions, terrified, yet strangely at peace. The crash site's elevation, situated approximately 100 feet above the golf course and 50 feet below the hill's summit, played a crucial role in the tragic incident. The investigation revealed no evidence of pre-impact part failure or malfunction. The pilots of the other helicopters reported visual flight rule conditions with some fog. A ground witness near the crash site reported varying intensities of haze and ground fog, accompanied by patches of low clouds. However, the witness noted that stars could still be seen through the fog. The National Transportation Safety Board identified the probable causes of the accident as follows. The pilot's improper planning and decision-making, coupled with his failure to attain adequate altitude before navigating over rising terrain at night, were the primary contributors. The accident was further influenced by factors such as darkness, fog, haze, rising terrain, and the absence of available visual cues for the pilot. The autopsy report on Stevie Ray Vaughan revealed a multitude of unsurvivable injuries, including the transection and dissection of the aorta, multiple depressed skull fractures, a ruptured spleen and liver, and fractures of the right thigh bone and ribs. These injuries underscore the severity of the impact sustained during the crash. Notably, the investigation concluded that no drugs or alcohol were involved in the tragic incident. Additionally, it was determined that all of the victims, including Stevie Ray Vaughan, had been wearing seatbelts at the time of the crash. As the investigation continued, Federal Aviation Administration records shed light on the pilot, Jeffrey W. Brown, hailing from East Chicago, Indiana, revealing a history of 2 previous accidents in Chicago. The FAA spokesman, Roland Hellwig, based at the FAA Aeronautical Center in Oklahoma City, disclosed that Brown's commercial pilot certificate had been suspended for 4 days in 1973 due to improper marking of an aircraft. In specific incidents, Hellwig noted that Brown was involved in an uncontrolled collision with the ground in a Hughes 69B helicopter on July 31, 1977. Subsequently, an engine malfunction was cited as the cause of a crash on September 19, 1989, when Brown was piloting a Bell 206B helicopter, similar to the one involved in the tragic crash. It's important to highlight that neither of these incidents resulted in injuries, and no disciplinary action was taken in either case. Hellwig emphasized that it's not uncommon for a pilot to be involved in multiple accidents. According to Roland Hellwig, spokesman for the Federal Aviation Administration at the FAA Aeronautical Center in Oklahoma City, the helicopter involved in the Alpine Valley incident was a 1978 Bell 206B with no recorded history of accidents. Similarly, the owner of the helicopter, Omni Flight Helicopters Incorporated of Chicago, had a clean record with no documented accidents. This information contrasts the specific helicopter involved in the tragic crash with a history of incidents attributed to its pilot Jeffrey W. Brown, emphasizing that the aircraft itself and its owner had not been previously involved in accidents. Sheriff David Graves, the sheriff of Walworth County, vividly recalls the challenging conditions on that fateful night. He emphasizes the visibility was extremely poor, recounting a personal experience of walking from the back gate of the theater towards his car in the hotel parking lot. During the short distance, he could barely discern the helicopters sitting on the ground. The sheriff couldn't help but express his disbelief, thinking, "I can't believe the pilots can fly out here in this soup." Friends and other band members were informed after the confirmation that Stevie had passed away. It was tough and unbelievable for everyone. Tommy Shannon, the bassist of Double Trouble, shared the heartbreaking moment when he learned about the tragic accident. According to him, the news didn't reach him until the following morning when their manager, Alex Hodges, informed him. Together with Chris Layton, the drummer of Double Trouble, they entered Stevie Ray Vaughan's room. The realization struck them when they noticed that the bed hadn't been slept in, making the gravity of the situation sink in. Adding to the surreal nature of the moment, Shannon recalled that as they entered the room, the radio was playing an Eagles song, specifically the one with the line, "I may never see you again." He found it eerie and, in retrospect, a haunting coincidence that added to the emotional weight of the tragic event. Stevie Ray Vaughan's untimely death triggered a profound and widespread outpouring of grief and shock worldwide. In September 1990, the album Family Style was released, marking Vaughan's best-selling non-Double Trouble album. It stands as the only collaborative recording he made with his brother, Jimmie Vaughan. On August 31, 1990, Stevie Ray Vaughan was laid to rest at Laurel Land Memorial Park in Dallas. The funeral services were attended by over 1,500 people, with an additional 3,000 gathered outside the chapel. His fiancée, Gianna Lapidus, along with Jimmie and Martha Vaughan, were present at the emotional ceremony. The mourners included a notable lineup of musicians and friends such as Stevie Wonder, Buddy Guy, Dr. John, ZZ Top, Eric Clapton, Bonnie Raitt, Jackson Browne and Nile Rodgers. Memorial services drew approximately 2,500 fans and friends from across the nation, enduring sweltering 100-degree temperatures to pay their respects to the legendary blues guitarist. In 1992, the Vaughan family filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Omni-Flight Helicopters. Omni-Flight, the company that owned and operated the helicopter involved in the tragic incident, faced a lawsuit for negligence from Martha and Jimmie Vaughan. The lawsuit alleged that pilot Jeff Brown operated the helicopter recklessly under visual flight rules while in instrument meteorological conditions. The Cook County lawsuit accused Omni-Flight Helicopters Incorporated along with the pilot of negligence. Additionally, it targeted the helicopter manufacturers Bell Helicopter, Textron Incorporated, General Motors Corporation, and Allied Signal Incorporated, accusing them of producing a defective aircraft. The legal action sought damages in excess of $30,000. Attorney Thomas Demetrio, representing Jimmie Vaughan and their mother, Martha, asserted that the pilot should not have taken off. While pointing to indications of pilot error, Demetrio acknowledged that the lawsuit was also directed at the manufacturers. Despite lacking specific evidence of manufacturing defects, he highlighted that Omni-Flight had filed a lawsuit in Texas against the helicopter makers. 3 years later, in 1995, the lawsuit ended in a settlement. The widows of Vaughan's bodyguard, Nigel Brown, and assistant tour manager, Colin Smith, received more than $2 million in settlements, whereas the Vaughan family settled it for an undisclosed amount. As hard as it was for Stevie's fans to move on, it was 1,000 times harder for his brother. In later interviews, Jimmie reflected on this difficult period, expressing, "I was pretty lost. It took me some time to realize that I had to move on and live my life. It was hard though, still is. A big part of me was gone in an instant. Life isn't supposed to be like that." To pay tribute to his brother along with other deceased blues guitarists, Jimmie later co-wrote and recorded a song titled "Six Strings Down." In the queue, many other artists dedicated songs to the legendary guitarist. Bonnie Raitt dedicated her 1991 album Luck of the Draw to him, a heartfelt gesture reflecting the impact he had on fellow musicians. Additionally, numerous artists recorded songs in remembrance of Vaughan, showcasing the wide reach of his influence. Notable tributes came from Eric Johnson, Tommy Emmanuel, Buddy Guy, Steve Vai, and Wayne Perkins. Stevie Wonder, recognizing Vaughan's cover of Superstition, paid homage with Stevie Ray Blues on his 1995 live album Natural Wonder. These tributes stand as a testament to Stevie Ray Vaughan's enduring legacy and the profound impact he had on the world of music. The city of Austin honored him by erecting the Stevie Ray Vaughan Memorial Statue at Auditorium Shores on Lady Bird Lake, a location significant for hosting many of his concerts. This memorial has become a cherished tourist attraction, drawing visitors who appreciate his contributions to music. Since 1998, St. Louis has annually hosted the Stevie Ray Vaughan tribute concert around Thanksgiving, featuring local musicians paying homage to his legacy. In 2000, Vaughan received the prestigious induction into the Blues Hall of Fame, acknowledging his profound influence on the blues genre. He also became eligible for consideration into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2008. Further recognizing his impact, residents of Dallas voted in 2008 to rename Industrial Boulevard, with Stevie Ray Vaughan's name being among the finalists. This endless love for a music icon has kept Stevie Ray Vaughan alive in our hearts even after 33 years of his demise. Stevie Ray has continued to inspire artists and will do so in the future as well.